Welcome to another greatness coaching session with Heidi M, who is with us again today, and the topic is enhancing emotional intelligence. Heidi, welcome back.
Hi, Ian. Thank you so much. How have you been keeping?
Great, thank you. And now even better now that I'm hearing your voice. How are you doing?
Oh, you see now. I'm well. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be talking to you about this extremely important topic. You know, we all have emotions, but we're not all very intelligent about them, right? So thankfully, emotional intelligence is something, is a skill. You can learn how to be emotionally intelligent. With a little bit of time and effort, you can actually learn this like a skill, like any other skill. And you know, it is so important because we are herd animals. We are and were created to connect with each other and to be in relationships with each other. Different kinds of relationships with different people, but relationships nevertheless. So by being emotionally intelligent or by enhancing your emotional intelligence, you can just make your whole life so much more pleasurable for yourself and for those around you. So the first thing we need to do, Ian, is to practice active listening. And isn't that hard? It's hard to really listen to people because life is so fast these days, and we often have like a one-way communication with our device, not another human being. So this active listening, or just listening on the whole, sometimes falls by the wayside, or more often than not, I'm afraid to say. So how do we do this? How do we practice active listening? We pay full attention to when others are speaking. This shows respect to the other person, right? But it also helps you understand their emotions and their perspective better. So you're not just listening to grab your opportunity to reply or to give your opinion. You're really listening to hear and understand what the other person is saying. The next thing we need to do is to develop empathy. This is also something that if you focus on it, it's not difficult to do. We practice empathy by putting ourselves in somebody else's shoes. You try to understand their feelings and emotions. You consider how you would react in their situation. So it's not to be perfect and to really 100%, because we can never get 100% into somebody else's brain. But the point is to try to understand their feelings and try to understand their emotions and their point of view. That trying is already the emotional intelligence component. And then, Ian, and this one might be a little bit surprising to some people, but this is to manage your stress, your own stress. Now, why is that important? When you are stressed, and when I am stressed, we don't respond to situations and people and conversations in an optimal way. So if you can learn to recognize when you are stressed and develop healthy coping mechanisms for your stress, this will improve your emotional regulation, your self-regulation. And that can help you respond to situations more effectively. And if you respond more effectively, it's not just, it's like forgiving someone. You're not just doing it for the other person, you're also doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
So if you can respond to these situations more effectively, you will see that it also helps you in your relationships, and then, of course, the other person. And then a fourth thing that we must do, or we can do, or we should do, is to improve our nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is the body, the posture, the movements, our gestures, but also our tone. If we can focus a little bit more on how we say something, as opposed to just on what we are saying. You know, some people have a very aggressive tone, and then they don't understand why people are responding to them in a negative fashion. But it's because it might be because of your tone or the way that you position yourself in front of somebody. If you have an aggressive stance, you know, or if you block yourself off from the other person by folding your arms, to use that archaic example, but it's a very good example.
Yeah.
So, you know, Jan, only 7% of our communication is the words that we are speaking.
Wow.
The 55% is visual. It's what we see. And 38% is actually the tone of the voice.
Wow.
You know, it's literally how you say something. Not just what you're saying. Yeah, it's very interesting, and we forget about that. And then the fifth one and the final point that is so important when we are learning to be emotionally more intelligent is to practice self-awareness, reflecting on your own emotions, reflecting on your own triggers and your own responses. Understand for yourself why you feel a certain way, and how that feeling a certain way influences your actions and your reactions, right? So this self-reflection can enhance your emotional intelligence over time. And it just also brings about a greater peace about yourself, a greater acceptance of yourself, because you know you can't change what you don't understand and what you don't acknowledge. And if you're not even aware of something, how can you understand or acknowledge it to change it? Once again, this is more for you actually than for the other person. Practicing this self-awareness, it really goes a long way in your peace of mind, in the way that you show up, in the way that you present yourself to the world and to others, and that in turn then determines to such a large extent how you are received, and then what kind of communication, what kind of energy, what kind of feedback you get from the other people around you. And that, Ian, is in a nutshell today how we can improve our emotional intelligence, enhance that emotional intelligence, and eventually just enhance your entire life.
That was so interesting, especially the body language and all that. I never realized, you know, and the tone. I never realized how important that is. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's something that somebody like you, Ian, you do that instinctively with this work on the airwaves that you normally do. But you've also knowingly or unknowingly trained yourself to sound a certain way, to come across a certain way, because it serves you better. In your career that you have chosen for yourself. So you have structured your life, knowingly or unknowingly, around that concept, right?
That's interesting. But you can't see my body language. So it can be, I can sit here with my arms folded. You won't even know.
You know, Ian, and I think we had this comment before where I told you about the BBC newsreaders in the old days, in the 60s, the radio newsreaders, that's how strongly they felt about the way that your voice comes out, the way that you come across, the way that you show up, even though you are not visible. So my hunch is that your arms are not folded.
No.
You don't sound like...
Is my camera on?
It was wonderful to talk to you. Thank you, my friend, with the unfolded arms.
Yes, likewise, Heidi. And then just finally, your contact details. How do we get in touch with you?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook, Heidi M. Wellness, and my WhatsApp number for a text is 079-815-6305.
Our listeners also note that when we post the podcasts from now on, there will be a little link below the podcast that says send a WhatsApp to Heidi. All you have to do is click on that link and it opens WhatsApp on your phone and you just start messaging Heidi. I think that's so awesome.
How awesome is that, Ian? I love it.
New feature.
New feature.
Yes.
You and your new feature. Oh, I'm loving it.
Awesome, Heidi. Until next week, we'll chat then.
Until next week. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.